Hi, friends, and welcome back to the Book Corner. I've got a pretty special story for you today. And again, it's in a really big book with lots and lots of stories. But today, did you know today was Earth Day? And it's where we celebrate the earth. We think about how we can protect the earth and keep it safe. And this story is about protecting all the earth's treasures and resources, okay? So this story is called The Lorax. Now, this is a big book, so I'm going to have to figure out how to hold this up while I read it to you. The Lorax, right there. Okay? So I might not be able to hold it up the whole time, but you will always get a chance to see the pictures, okay? So, at the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting the crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. Says it right there. Street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, the old onceler still lives there. Ask him. He knows. The onceler. These are made up names, right? I think you know that, right? You do. You won't see the onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of myth-muffled moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. That's an odd combination of things, right? I think so. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grubulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-ma-phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Swoop. There's the whisper-ma-phone right there. Down slops the whisper-ma-phone to your ear, and the old onceler whispers are not very clear, since they have come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he has smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started back, way back, such a long, long time back. So now, wait. I want you to remember how this place looks, right? So we start off, it looks like this. All right, it's gray. I don't see any living trees. I see like one sickly bird. Oh, okay. Smoggy. Okay. Are you ready for these pictures? You're not ready. You're not ready. It's okay, but I'm ready. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swummy swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze, and under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the rivulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. Barbaloots, humming fish, and swummy swans. See? All right, let's see what else we have here. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. It's the onceler. It says, onceler wagon. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I kneaded a thneed. That's the onceler shop. A thneed. I wonder what that is. A thneed. The instant I finished, I heard a gazoom. I looked and I saw something pop out of the stump. Let's read that. Sometimes you have to reread. The instant I finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump. See, I realized it had to rhyme. Of the tree I chopped down, it was sort of a man. Describe him. That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues. I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? Good question. This book is getting heavy, friends. Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a need. It needs a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. Lorax says, sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool Thneed. But that very minute, I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute, a chap came along, and he thought that the Thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor, stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. Somebody should speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. Oh my gosh, did he say shut up? That is so mean. He should have used other words. I rushed across the room and in no time at all, built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called on my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Western family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehawken and sharp right of South Snitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Western family was working full tilt. We were all knitting knees just as busy as bees to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. He said he was only chopping one tree. Now he has his whole family here chopping all kinds of trees. Way more than one tree. This is more than one tree, friends. He did not tell the truth. All right, we ready for the next part? Because I'm not really happy right now. Then, oh baby, oh, how the business did grow. Now, chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented the super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. Oh my gosh, look at that. We were making knees 4 times as fast as before, and the Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbalus who played in the shade in their barbaloo suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go around, and my poor barbalus are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. Oh my gosh, look at the barbalus. They look so sad. Because they eat the fruits from the trees that the Westler is chopping. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Westler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm. I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory. I biggered my roads. I biggered my wagons. I biggered my loads. Of the knees I shipped out, I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more knees, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Now look here, friends. Okay. Do you see? Look at this. What is that? That is smoke coming out of the factory chimneys. The sky doesn't look as bright as it did before, does it? I don't think so. Not at all. So I wonder what's going to happen next. Then again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes when the old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. Now look at that. Smoke. I see it. I am the Lorax. He coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled. He snarled and he sniffed. Westler, he cried with a crofulous croak. Monster, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in their throat. Swami swans, see them? They're not even flying. They're walking, and they look so sad. And so, said the monster, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape the smog you've smogged up around here. That's a long time to be flying. What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander all up. Let me say a few words about Gluppity Glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity glup, also sloppity slop. And what do you do with the leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old monster man, you. You're glumping up the pond where the humming fish hum. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gum. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. So the humming fish cannot swim in murky and gloppy water. They need clean water. Uh-oh. We're almost finished, guys, and it's not looking great. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into knees, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From the outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. Oh my goodness. Okay, first of all, we gotta go back. Do you see this sky? It's gray. And then we have one more tree. We kind of have some green grass, but that's about it. And a factory keeps making smog. No more trees, no more knees, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smog-smothered stars. Now all that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing. He just gave me a glance, gave me a very sad backwards glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. That tiny hole up there, the Lorax left. And all that the Lorax left here is this mess, was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I sat here and worried away. Through the years while my buildings have fallen apart, I worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the monster, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. See? Unless this right there. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen. So catch, calls the monster. He lets himself fall. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last truffula seed, and the truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. The last seed. So it's this child's job to kind of grow another truffula forest, because the monster realizes he messed up the last one. He chopped down all the trees. He made smog. He made glup. So the barbaloots and the swami swans and the humming fish had to all go. And the Lorax. So maybe if this child or you plant a tree and make it grow, give it water, give it air and sun, it can grow and grow and be a nice, beautiful forest. Well, thanks for joining me, friends, and I cannot wait to see you next time.